90-Day Fiancé, Mike opens up about medical condition that makes him messy. Jimena Morales threatened to leave Mike Burke if he didn't change his bad habits. Will Jimena change her mind after Mike's confession on 90-Day Fiancé? 90-Day Fiancé, before the 90 Days cast member Mike Burke shared details of his chronic condition which has been kept a secret from girlfriend Jimena Morales. The past few episodes have revealed quite a few secrets from 24-year-old Jimena's past. The Colombian woman lied to Mike about how they would have future kids, along with not telling him about her hitman ex. But while Mike forgave her, Jimena found new excuses to break up with him as she blamed him for being gross. Apart from farting while kissing her on 90-Day Fiancé cameras, Mike was annoying Jimena by leaving his dirty clothes scattered all over her house. Still, Mike didn't question Jimena about why she was threatening to dump him when she'd been with someone who commits crimes for a living in her past. Jimena expressed disgust at how Mike took off his nasty clothes and tossed them onto the floor. She mentioned how she didn't want to feel like Mike was another child for her when he's an old man of 34 and not a 4-year-old. The belching, farting, and messiness would have to stop for Alina to marry Mike, but he did seem shaken over why such trivial things would matter so much to Jimena. Still, he promised Jimena he would work on his bad habits, though he wondered if there was something deeper she wasn't telling him about. According to a preview from 90-Day Fiancé, before the 90 Days episode 8, shared by Hollywood Life, Mike finally tells Jimena what is it that makes him act in a messy manner. The video shows he and Jimena in a cab as Mike blows his nose and sticks the dirty tissue in the back of the driver's seat. Jimena tells him that he can't discard his snot-filled tissue there as it's not his car and retorts, "I can't imagine what you're like in your house, my God." She proceeds to tell Mike angrily, "It's not difficult to learn to be clean." However, Mike now reveals that he has a medical condition, ADHD, which affects his concentration and makes him distracted. Mike confesses that he's not doing it on purpose, but it's just that sometimes he forgets. While giving an example, volunteer firefighter Mike adds, "The clothes on the floor, I forget that they're there, and then I forget to put it into the washing machine." When Jimena asks Mike how long he's had ADHD, he explains it to her by saying how it's almost like a learning disability and it has something to do with the brain. To the 90-Day Fiancé cameras, Mike says he was diagnosed with ADHD in middle school. He gets distracted easily or forgets to do certain things. A lot of the things that Jimena expects Mike to change, such as organization, which is attributed to ADHD, are not all his fault. "Because it's been like a struggle basically my whole life to try and find other ways to work around it," Mike adds. Meanwhile, Jimena has narrowed down Mike's messiness to him not having had many girlfriends. She thinks that it's because Mike has never lived with a woman. She observed that Mike is probably a slob because he's missing a woman's presence in his house. Although Jimena wants to believe that Mike can learn, she doesn't want a messy husband with no manners in case they get married. With Mike now explaining that he has ADHD, perhaps Jimena can look at her boyfriend with a different lens and learn to approach him with empathy. This is most likely what she must have done considering the 90-Day Fiancé. Before the 90 Days couple has shown many hints that Mike and Jimena are still